TTG collab.
Hey.
Hey, are you wearing it? Oh, Full Throttle Auto. Do you see the new ones I posted up? Got to get the hoodie.
I did.
Yeah. Welcome back again to another Honda video. My name is Harris. This is my channel, Full Throttle Auto. And in today's video, we're installing these. All right, so here we have a Ultra Racing. Now you guys saw me in a vlog install the Ultra Racing floor brace that goes underneath the car by the exhaust and all that in the middle of the car. This is their strut bar. We're gonna be installing this. This should be pretty easy. And then we have the Progress Group 22mm sway bar. This, not so easy. Now, before we get into the actual installation of these parts, let's first take a look at what this car does on a little self-made cone course to see how bad the body roll is, which is what the sway bar is going to help with, and if we can improve on that, if it'll actually show on video, or if it's just going to be a placebo effect where I'm just feeling something that's not there. Let's take a look. All right, now that we got that completed, now we're gonna go ahead and install these. I do wanna say thank you to this guy for helping out recording that. We were in a enclosed area, trying to be safe about it. It did say, what was the word that you'd use?
Official events only.
Official events only, and that's fine. But there was no events, and the gate was open. It's a big empty lot, no cars. It's literally used for practice and stuff like that. And an autocross. It's where we had our autocross.
Listen, undisclosed location. Close your doors if you don't want people to go in there.
Right, and on top of that, I'm trying to be safe about it, right? Do these tests. So now that we got that out of the way, let's go ahead and get installing. Now, as always, I use the same tools. It's just a socket set. This one happens to be from Craftsman. You don't have to get a Craftsman. You can get whatever you want. And I am going to go use an impact wrench just to take off the bolts and stuff like that for everything a lot faster, a lot easier, so I'm not messing around with that. So while we're here, and since it's the easiest thing to do, let's do the strut bar first. Right, I got you. Those leaves get in here no matter what. It's ridiculous. Yeah, so it's going to go on these. Can you guys? We don't have proper lighting for you guys here. That's better. Sorry. Better. It's better. All right, so we are gonna. These are the bolts that it's going to mount to. We have them on, obviously, on both sides. I actually never thought about what the heck is all this. Huh? That's interesting. I don't know what those are. All right. So supposedly it's supposed to, when I look at the image, now there's no instructions for this. So this is just, I'm learning as you guys are watching. So from what I could tell, these tabs actually sit forward. So it should sit something like that. That doesn't look like it. That's very,
That's where it's going to be.
that looks like that's about where it's going to be. Yeah, so is this, do they,
I don't know what this hole is.
I wonder if they use the same, whoa. I wonder if they use the same brace for different models. Which is, I get it, but it looks like they do. It looks like they do. It is for the 9th gen, guys. It is. It says it right here. It's 9th gen Accord. It's interesting, but it wouldn't fit if we did it the other way. So it looks like we're going to be using 2 of the bolts out of the many that are there. That's how it's going to sit. Clearly, it clears everything. It shouldn't be an issue at all.
That's good.
Yeah. Although, on the plus side, we get to only take out 4 bolts. Look at that. Hey, you know what's the difference between this and the other one? It fit like a glove. I didn't have to drill anything. So this one, ironically enough, fits good. The brace underneath, there was some drilling that needed to be. Check out the vlog for that one. I know it was a vlog. It wasn't an actual install video. But yeah, that should be all right. I think you got it pretty, I would say pretty centered there. He's going to help me get those. Looks like it's still the same hardware. So it's stock hardware that you're using. You just reuse the, what are these? These are nuts, right? The nuts. The nuts. The nuts. Listen, there's something satisfying about saying the nuts.
Yes.
Although, I'm having issues with these nuts.
Tell you what, though.
I'm sure there's a torque spec for these. I'm just doing them the German torque spec, which is good and tight. So, yeah, we're gonna go with that.
Tell you what, though. Be careful with your fluids.
Yeah, that's.
Fluids are gonna be.
It is a little bit. It is
That's
a.
just what, power steering, which you don't really change very often. And what's the other one?
So
What's the little one?
this.
That's brake.
This is brake. This is clutch.
So clutch you won't mess with too much.
No.
Brake is still accessible. It's just.
Yeah, yeah. It's just a little bit annoying, but it's still pretty accessible.
You guys don't know about this. This is the special edition Leaf.
Yeah. No, this is what is about.
Eco-friendly.
It's eco-friendly, but because it's all natural,
Yeah.
it adds like 20 horsepower.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. So what was that? 10 minutes?
If that.
That's an easy one. It's very sturdy. There's no flex in it. If you do have a stock one, the stock ones are very thin, very flexible. I would recommend with something like this. Now, I'm not a big fan of white, but this is what the company's color is, so it is white. But I mean, that's on there. Hopefully, we'll notice some a little bit of change. All right. Next to the I was going to say progress bar. It is Progress, the company. The sway bar, guys. Next to the sway bar. All right, first things first, chuck the front wheels, jack up the rear, make sure to put it on jack stands, and take off the back wheels, both of them. Then you're going to go ahead and unbolt the end links on each side of the sway bar. For unbolting the end links, you are going to have to do a few things. One, I use a ratchet with a socket to break it loose. Then you're going to have to use most likely, I used a ratcheting wrench. However, you can use obviously a regular one. I recommend the ratcheting one. And you're going to have to use an Allen key. You're going to put the Allen key inside the hole that's in the middle of the bolt, or yeah, let's say bolt, the threaded part of the end link. And then you're going to use the wrench to unscrew it. The Allen key is there to make sure it doesn't move while you're unscrewing the bolt. Now, if you do come into the situation that I came in, and penetrating fluid didn't help this situation either, is where the Allen key starts stripping and the inside of that threaded bolt, or whatever you want to call it, for the end link no longer allows you to properly remove the nut from the bolt. Then you are going to have to do what I did, which is essentially I used vice grips to hold down the inlet part that you're not unscrewing, and then that's going to go ahead and go against one of the suspension components, and you're going to use a very big either ratchet or some kind of breaker bar. This was the only way I could get it off. Now, doing this will damage the end links, and you will have to replace them with different ones. Once that's done, you're gonna go ahead and unbolt the brackets that hold the sway bar and the bushing up to the car. You can access these easily by where each tire is from the top instead of actually having to do it from the bottom. And then you are gonna go ahead and be able to remove the old sway bar. Once that is done, you're gonna go ahead and have to drill out the holes for the actual mounting for the new sway bar. As the directions point out, you are going to be using a 1332 drill bit to drill out this hole a little bit bigger so you can use the proper mounting hardware. I used a step bit or uni bit or whatever you want to call it just to make it a little bit easier on me. Trust me, this is very, very easy to do. Once that's drilled out, you're going to go ahead and put the new sway bar in. Now, if you have an aftermarket exhaust like I do, I did have to unbolt it to give me enough room to properly put in the new sway bar. Once that's done, I go ahead and mounted the sway bar to the mounting holes with the bushings. And then once that was done, I went and bolted up the end links on each side using the Allen key and the ratcheting wrench. Once that's all put back together, of course, go ahead and put on your wheels, take it off the jack, and test out the car. Have you noticed how a lot of people on YouTube that record videos like myself say all right and so a lot? Yeah, I'm saying that because I didn't know how to actually get into this part of the video without saying that. All right, so after looking at the footage, I noticed that it didn't really show on camera the big difference for the sway bar with the body roll, with the cone test. But that being said, it does actually, in my opinion, actually handle better, and there is definitely less body roll. I can definitely take some turns and corners faster than I used to be able to. And also my cousin, after recording me the second time around to get that footage, he even said, it looks like your car's leaning less. And I'm like, good, because that's what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to have less of that body roll. As for the strut bar, that's something you're not really going to notice until you actually utilize the car on a racetrack and really push it. So for now, we're not really going to be able to get great results, but I can say that I definitely noticed something, and I do recommend it. If you're looking for something that'll give you a better feel of your car, better handling, I highly recommend at least the sway bar. The strut bar is just a bonus. But just like last year, I definitely am going to try to go to Blackhawk Farms so I can test out the car and see how much better it can do on the track compared to the best time I was able to do last year. Here's hoping I'm able to make it out this year and have the funds for that. I do want to mention real quick before we head out, in the instructions for the sway bar, it does mention to start with the softest setting for the two-way adjustability. So the end link would go into the front hole instead of the back hole. And I don't know if that's necessary. Here's the thing, you definitely notice a different feeling. I've said definitely quite a few times already. But I don't think it's such a drastic change to the point where you need to start off at a lower setting and then switch over to the stiffer setting to get used to that. I don't think that's necessary, but then again, you know, everybody's different behind the wheel, so maybe for you, you might actually have to do that. But from what I can tell, it's not something that necessarily is required to do. At least for me, it definitely wasn't. There it is again. As for overall installation, pretty easy. The worst part of it was needing to undo the exhaust, just the two bolts that connects the mid pipe to the rear section. I needed to be able to pull it down to be able to properly maneuver the new sway bar into position. So that was a little bit of a pain. Outside of that, the end links were annoying. I did have to use the method that I mentioned, and if something like that happens, I mean, you just have to pick up new end links. You can maybe use those for now until you're ready to drop the car and get different end links, because when you do alter the height, you should get different end links anyways. So if you are doing something like this where you had to use the method that I did with the clamp, and what's the word for the clamp? What's the word for the clamp? I can't remember it now. With the clamp and the breaker bar, or very big ratchet, then you can probably get away using it for now. However, that rubber piece is going to be destroyed, not necessarily destroyed, but it definitely is going to have damage on it to the point where at some point it's going to make the end link not perform properly. So you will most likely have to actually get a new one. And if you're in the market of lowering your suspension, getting coilovers here shortly, you should just get adjustable ones anyways for that. Outside the installation, like I said, the handling is great. I recommend it. I'm super happy with it. I have no problems with it. The drilling wasn't bad at all. Everything's in the description below. If you want to know where I bought it, the tools I used and stuff like that, that should be in the description below. Otherwise, that is it. You guys let me know your opinion, what you think. Have you installed sway bars? Have you noticed the difference? Sway bars, just the one? I mean, you could do the front, but usually most people do the back. Oh, and also, there's significant difference between the two. I don't think I mentioned it in the video. There is the stock one is a 12 millimeter and the new one is a 22 millimeter. So it's 10 mil thicker, and you can definitely notice that difference. I mean, it is significant. But that's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to subscribe for future videos and make sure to hit that like button. If you didn't, hit the dislike button. Tell me why in the comments. Of course, I want to know why you didn't like it. Maybe I can get better. Maybe. And I'll see you in the next one.